Well, the Pecos wilderness has had a tough year. First, the Tres Lagunas fire burned up 10,000 acres of the Santa Fe National Forest.
And now with a wild monsoon season, there's flooding problems. News 13's Cole Miller is live in the town of Pecos with more. Cole?
Good evening, Dean and Jessica. Today we got an up-close look at just how bad some of that damage is. The state and feds are now brainstorming ways to both improve water quality and the local economy. The Pecos River and its soothing sound make for a postcard backdrop to the Brush Ranch, about 10 miles north of Pecos.
There's not anything holding the water when it rains. And so, of course, the soot and silt and ash and all came down and along with the mud, and that really did a lot of damage.
This was the scene in the Pecos Canyon earlier this summer, where the Tres Lagunas fire raged for weeks. It left behind a massive burn scar, and now recent downpours have made a mess of the river, filling it with sediment and tree trunks caught in the blaze, killing off nearly 75% of the fish.
Clearly here some really dramatic impacts. Those impacts will not be as dramatic going into the future, but they will be sustained and continued, and what we want to do is make sure we can do everything possible to help mitigate those and keep a healthy stream and good water quality for the fishery here.
Local, state, and federal officials met Monday to take a closer look at the damage and come up with a way to restore the waterways. James Hogan with the state's Environment Department says cleanup will take years and come with a cost.
Stream restoration doesn't come cheap. It costs, hundreds of thousands of dollars per mile of stream restoration. So, it can be millions of dollars that we're looking at.
Brush Ranch will remain closed this year and likely next year too. Larry Lujan owns the property with his brother and brother-in-law and says the local economy has and continues to suffer from this year of wild weather.
We don't make our living from this place, but there's a lot of people up here that do. And I think that you can see it's beautiful right now, and I think that should be assessed as to whether or not the canyon should actually be closed to the public or not, and at what point in time can it open. There's talk right now that it'll be closed this year and all of next.
Officials today decided that they would focus on the areas hit hardest first, and it also appears that EPA funds from the Clean Water Act may be available to the state as cleanup here gets underway. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Cole. The state's Environment Department is also looking at new ways to respond to these types of disasters. It's estimated the impact of the fire on water quality in the Pecos River could last more than a decade.